I'm going to start with yellow because I'm thinking sunshine. I don't know why. This is a relaxation exercise. The idea is to just do something that is non-stress producing. And I don't even know what I'm going to do yet. I have to let it transpire. I've just put in some perylene green into that orangey yellow colour to see what happens. I'm not sure if that's going to be nice or nasty. The one thing about Kuretake colours, and that's not a Kuretake colour, and nor is the yellow, is that they are remarkably reliable in producing nice effects. I'm not sure why, but they do seem to be. So anyway, I'm now dipping into my Kuretake, and I'm going to replace that colour with some green, and I'm just going to see what happens. I think I might have just a few yellowish dots creeping up there, which would be quite nice. So we'll just keep on adding colours. What goes with that kind of green, do you think? I reckon I'm going to put some of this pale blue. And we'll just develop across the page. See what happens. I think maybe, do we want a bit more yellow down here now, do you think? This is what I call intuitive painting. I'm just following my intuitive painting mojo. I like this pale blue, don't you? And I like the way with these, someone said to me the other day, oh, Kuretake colours don't blend the way ordinary watercolours do, but I'm sorry, but that's not true, because they do, as you can see. Let's go into this colour here. And when I've painted on this piece of paper and ruined its life, I love that colour. I really like that colour. That's turquoise deep. Yeah, when I've changed the future of this piece of paper enough, I will let it dry. I will go and have lunch and come back, and then we'll do some embellishments on top of some sort. Need more yellow. It's a kind of cadmium yellow, this one. It's a very bright yellow. Abstract. Probably want something dark in this corner, don't we? And put some indigo in there. I think that's indigo. And maybe we'll put that in between. And over this side here, I feel that's a bit muddy. So I'm going to pull some of that out and come in again. With the yellow, and then we'll let that dry. Okay, so that looks interesting, I think. Not sure what it is, but we'll let that dry and come back later and paint over the top of it. Why not? Okay, so I'm back to this and quite excited to carry on with what we've got started here. And I think what I need to do is to darken some of these already darkish areas. And so I'm going to pick up some of a similar colour to what's underneath and then layer in another layer of the same sort of colour, if you see what I mean. So we've got this perylene green going on over here, so let's darken that down as far as we possibly can. And then see what happens when that colour goes over this bright yellow, and just bring it down. This is going to give me options for using gold and other colours, light colours like white and so on, over the top. And it doesn't really matter. I just wanted dark areas. So let me do that. Different greens. And we'll see what happens. I'm kind of thinking what it really needs is leaf shapes, but that's because I tend to gravitate in that direction inevitably. So let's do grey on grey. I think the important thing when you're doing something like this is not to let it stress you out, not to let yourself feel in any way as if you could do anything wrong, because you can't. Because what are you doing after all? I can put some more green in this black. And then, because I'm a bit of a wimp, I'm going to blot some of it out. And then in a second, I shall dry it. And now I'm going to turn it round, just because I'm going to turn it round. And then I'm going to put a line like this, and then my leaves are going to grow organically over the background. And you won't be able to see them very well, but it'll be enough for me to be able to see what I'm doing when I come to the next step. Okay, and let's come in this side here. No, I don't think we'll do them like that. We'll do them like this. Something like that. Okay, and then we're going to find some white. Got some white here. Doesn't matter if it's not completely white, so this is just white. It's got a bit of green in it, doesn't matter. Then I'm going to paint over the whole thing and round the leaves. And this is where you want to, you think, oh, I think I need to put some music on now while I do this. So the idea here is this kind of reverse negative painting. And we're just developing something, you know. Don't know what's going to happen. You can't always, you don't need to know. You don't need to know what's going to happen. And with something like this, you probably can't ever know. Oops. Let's come over this side. And then after we've done this, then we really do have to let it dry. This is just white gouache or white watercolor, doesn't matter, just ordinary Chinese white or titanium white. We'll do 2. It doesn't have to be anything special. It doesn't have to be Dr. P.H. Martin's bleed proof white, but if it is, it doesn't matter, it can be. Okay, so now it's hairdryer time again. Okay, it's looking quite exciting, isn't it? Look at that. It's really abstract. Now, for the next step, I've decided I'm going to use my Coliro Golds. This is called Pearl Colors Gold and Silver Coliro, made in Germany. Nothing wrong with these as far as their strength goes. They're pretty good. This was the first gold paint that I ever possessed not long ago, thanks to Amazon and recommendation, I think, of Emma Lefebvre. Yes, she was using something like this to do something on a Christmas card a few years ago, and she was the first YouTube she and Ellen Crimmy Trent were the first two YouTube artists I watched before I started my channel. And I watched them and I thought, oh, Emma's pretty good. She's obviously a professional painter. I didn't realize she wasn't, but she seemed very, at the beginning, the things that she did were, I thought, very professionally done. Which doesn't mean to say she's not still professional, but I had no, what's the word? I had no benchmark. I had no idea what was on YouTube or anything. But anyway, I liked her things, and I made a few Christmas cards that year using some of her ideas. It's because I was thinking about starting the channel and I wanted to see how it worked. So I thought I'd better be a student. So I did that. And she made a Christmas card and she just did a line around the outside edge. I'm just trying to make this a little bit thicker, mixing them all together. I want to make them a little bit darker. She did a line around the outside edge of the card in gold. And it was, I don't know if it was this one or the Kuretake one or something else, I don't remember, but I was quite taken by that. I thought, oh, I need some of those colours. But actually at that time I was in Spain for the winter and I couldn't order anything, so I don't think I was able to find any there. Art shops are a bit thin on the ground in that region where I was. I'm just painting around the outside edges where I've put the pencil lines. If I hadn't put the pencil lines, I wouldn't have needed to have done this, or I could rub them out. But I'm just going around the outside edge while I'm talking because I haven't got to think too hard if I'm just outlining these things. And then I'm going to put some more solid leaves here to cover up these pencil marks. There we are. And let me see. So now what I want to do is probably embellish these a bit. So I'm going to take the same brush and just use the tip of it and do some lines like that on some of them, perhaps. I don't want to do it on all of them. Some of them have got lovely textures behind. This one hasn't so much, so we'll do some lines on this one. And then we can, continuing on with the gold theme, we can embellish anywhere where it's not terribly interesting, and just come in and do something a little bit different. So I can just go over there with these circles, and we could put some dots in here. I don't know if you would call this mark making. Probably. Yeah, and so then you keep going, and you put some more dots up here, perhaps smaller. And we can go over the edge. We don't necessarily want to only paint within. Oh, look, I'm writing in Chinese. I think this one wants to be solid. So yes, so then I watched Emma, and then I watched some Ellen Crimi Trent, and did some of her projects as well, just for Christmas cards for the family. And I thought, oh, you know what? I think I can do this. I think I've got some knowledge that I could share. And as I think I've told you before, but not everybody will have heard the story. My daughter and I had been working together since 2003, I think it was, when we started a business in England as tutors. We were doing teaching children English and maths, and we had quite a big business actually. We had, I know at one point about, I'm not sure, I can't remember exactly, but about 10 staff, and we had 2 premises. Anyway, so when the pandemic came, we had to close down, so we were looking for something else to do. And I suddenly had this inspiration, which came one night when I was asleep. I woke up in the morning convinced that we needed to go on to YouTube. So we did. Okay, so I'm going to put a smaller branch in here with small leaves. So that was my first, what do you call it? What's the word? Market research. Looking to see what people wanted. And of course, at that time, it was during the pandemic, of course, as I just said, and there was a huge upsurge in the number of people who wanted to learn to paint, because they didn't, well, they had a lot of time. A lot of people were stuck at home, weren't they? And so it seemed like a really good idea. And as it turned out, it was, because it's worked. And I think a lot of people are getting something out of what we do. And I am. So I think Tamsin does, although sometimes we get a little bit frustrated with the technology and so on. But it's fun and it's rewarding, and that's the main thing. So now I'm wondering whether I need to use maybe some white or some black or some brown or what, I don't know. I think maybe I should dry it. I have some white here, Mitsubishi Uni Posca. That's working. White dots. And so we need some more of those over here, maybe bigger ones. Could make them much bigger, but then it takes a lot longer, doesn't it? So I'm not sure if I want to do that. And then we could put some veins on some of our leaves. Right. sometimes the white lines just lift the whole thing a little bit. And something like that, you know. Could add a few more up here. And then we could have some circles. You can do anything you can think of. Sorry about the scratching. I think it's a good idea when you're not actually drawing or painting, but you have some time to look at other people's work and get some ideas and try to absorb them and make them into your unconsciousness, so that when it comes to doing something like this, you can kind of access it. It's there. It's kind of gone into your brain. I think that's the thing. Rather than having something in front of you that you're actually copying, to try to copy it from your head. See what I mean? That's not going very well onto that gold, but it is a little bit, so it's just giving it a bit more interest, scratching it away a little bit. Okay, I think we're probably getting to the point where we've got enough interest going on here. I'm going to stop, take a photograph and see whether it's done. Sometimes that's another thing that you can do. If you're not sure whether your picture is finished, you can stop, like I'm going to now, make sure it's dry, and take a photo and then look at that. And you'll always, if there's something glaringly wrong, it'll stand out when you do that. So I shall do that. Can relax a little bit and feel better about things in general. So I'm going to try popping that into a frame in a minute to see what that looks like. Information about any of the things that I used that you might be interested in, such as these paints and those paints there and the brushes and everything that I used, will all be in the description below the video. You know how to get there, don't you? You just click on the little downward pointing arrow usually, or where it says description, depends on your device really. It's not easy to tell you exactly where to look because all devices are different, but there is a description below every video with up to, I think, 5,000 characters of writing in it, where we have everything, all the information about everything that we do is all there. Every single video contains all of that. So just in case you've forgotten, that's something to remember. And please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and also to join us either here on YouTube as a member for a couple of dollars a month, or else on Patreon. Diane Antone Studio on Patreon starts at $3 a month, and that helps us to continue to do what we're doing and make it into something of a business that's viable, which is obviously very important. So we really appreciate your support. So with that, I will let you go. You know everything you need to know. I don't need to keep on repeating this, but I keep being told that I should by YouTube. So I will. So there we go. I've said it. And I'll see you again soon. Bye, everybody. Bye for now. Bye-bye.